Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2020 Department of Sociology Commencement Ceremony, or at least its virtual version. My name is Lori Hunter, and I have the distinct honor of being chair of our department. So we miss you all as we plan to gather at the Boulder Theater, and we hope many of you will be able to join us next year. Of course, we also hope you're doing okay in the midst of challenges that everybody's facing. In the meantime, we've come together to create this video version of your graduation ceremony. All the pieces are here, even if we're all geographically quite far apart. So this event marks a major milestone, and it's definitely time to celebrate the accomplishments of students at all levels. We've got bachelor's degree recipients, master's, and doctoral degree recipients. So to our graduates, wherever you are, a great big congratulations. We're all so proud of you, but of course, this event isn't all about you, sorry. As students of sociology, you know that your achievements are not simply the result of individual effort, right? Using that sociological imagination, you know that we're all embedded in social structures. We're embedded in collectives, your family, your friendship groups, the institution, your communities, and even your nation states. Each of these has shaped us, including our ambitions, our opportunities, and our achievements. So to the graduates, key to your being here at this celebration today have been those who cared for you, who inspired you, who supported you and encouraged you all along the way. I'd like to recognize them. Let's take a couple of minutes to recognize these groups of people. Now, at the Boulder Theater, we have these supportive groups stand up, as they're called, and we all cheer them wildly. Of course, we can't do the cheering wildly, but I do ask that if you are able, wherever you are, please stand up as I call your group so that we can recognize you virtually. First, as you're able, would those listening and watching who are grandparents, please stand up. Now, to those of you who are with those, or even if you're not with them, please cheer on and thank your grandparents. Next, let's have the siblings stand up. Siblings, stand up. We cheer you and we recognize you. Next, let's have close friends and significant others. Go ahead, stand up. We cheer you. We thank you for all of the support you have provided to our graduates. And lastly, and of course not least, would you parents please stand up? We thank you so much for all you have done for our graduates as they celebrate today. So our graduates are also lucky to have had dedicated staff and faculty during their time here at CU Boulder. Patty Burton, Carrie Bagley, and Bridget Sellinger have all supported them. They were key to pulling together this virtual ceremony, and our department advisor is Michael Lynn. Of course, all of you graduates were fortunate to have many other outstanding faculty, all of whom are also proud, many of whom participated in the creation of this ceremony. So back to our graduates and back to sociology. So the degree you've earned is absolutely critical in today's world. Look at the extraordinary challenges that we're facing. During your time at CU Boulder, sociology asks you to develop excellent critical thinking skills and to look at this crazy world around us through an analytical lens that allows you to identify important patterns, right? We learn that those things that are happening out there aren't happening in a random way at all. There are patterns by gender, by race, by ethnicity, by social class, and by geography. And these are manifest in current times through variation in the impacts of COVID-19. So it's important to recognize and examine the processes that also underlie these patterns, because doing so helps us create responses, right? Those processes might be related to discrimination, prejudice, inequalities, and opportunity structures. So understanding these patterns and processes allows us to explore their implications and how differently they might influence life chances of groups of people. All that knowledge, I believe, is absolutely essential to render change, including as we move forward from COVID-19. Of course, all of this requires that we look beyond ourselves and our own circumstances, that we rethink our preconceptions of how the world works, that we let theory, data, guide our investigation, and we let science inform our understanding and our response. It requires that we consider other people's viewpoints and experiences. Now, for those of you who are watching but haven't experienced sociology firsthand, I really hope you listen to the examples of research provided in today's program. You'll hear about honors theses, master's theses, and PhD dissertations, and they all offer glimpses into the critical thinking about social patterns and processes that our graduates engage in. Their accomplishments are tremendous, and those critical thinking skills are essential to the world outside those doors. Today, we're celebrating 200 bachelor's degree recipients, 4 master's, and 5 doctoral degree graduates in sociology. So let's get started by stepping into our commencement address. Each year, the faculty are asked to nominate outstanding undergraduates to be considered for commencement speaker. And this year, our speaker is Lydia Stelka. Lydia demonstrates what it means to live sociology. Her time on campus has been filled with inquiry into those patterns and processes that I mentioned, with the goal of bettering human lives. She's had 2 internships during her time here at CU, including one at the Thorn Nature Experience and another at her campus, a feminist magazine for which she has done writing. She's also worked as a research assistant on an NSF project. You'll hear more about that when I talk about her honors thesis. She completed the Eco-Social Justice Leadership Training, and she's co-chair for the Conference on World Affairs Women in Leadership Subcommittee. All the while, Lydia has volunteered with the Western Slope and Front Range High School speech and debate teams. Combined, all of these activities are definitely living sociology. So I'm happy to get the ceremony started by introducing Lydia Stelka.
Congratulations, class of 2020. Though I'm sure this isn't exactly the ceremony we all had in mind, I'm sure most of us can't complain about being able to spend one of life's most momentous occasions in our pajamas. We are entering the world at a truly rocky point in history, and I would be lying to you if I said I wasn't at least a little scared right now. However, if sociology has taught me anything, it's that humans are made and built to endure, even if, for right now, that simply means hiding under blanket forts and ordering exclusively from Hungry Buffs. When I first came to CU, I had no idea what sociology even was or where it could possibly lead me to. I took a class by chance and figured that would probably be the end of it. However, the more I got to know the wonderful professors, people, and ideas that make up the field, the more invested in it I became. A lot of people like to think that the social sciences are silly, and sociology in particular tends to get a pretty bad rap. Although I think most of that has to do with the fact that we like taking classes on death for fun. However, this is exactly the reason that sociologists are unique. It's that we have learned about truly awful things, investigated the deepest and the darkest and the worst of humanity, and yet we still manage to come out of it hopeful, knowing that maybe someday things could be better. Some people might call that naive, but in my mind, there is nothing braver than looking at these problems and these issues that have permeated our society for years and knowing that even if we aren't necessarily the tipping point, we can still do something to make it better. Now that our time at CU is coming to a close, we have been given a massive opportunity to tackle the issues we care most about. Our generation has long been underestimated, but being young and hopeful isn't a bad thing. In fact, it's one of the only ways we can possibly hope to break out of our world's current cycle of oppression, discrimination, and cynicism. I have no doubts that this class will move forward with the same passion and conviction that has led us to this very moment, and in the meantime, changing the very institutions that raised us and hoping that soon the idea of studying human connection, love, and kindness isn't seen as silly or a waste of tuition, but rather something incredibly necessary instead. My only hope is that no matter where you end up, you will always remain open and full of this hope. that you will be the next person to take a chance on something or someone new, even if you know things won't necessarily work out. I hope you will remain eager to learn, regardless of how many horrible things you encounter along the way. That is the only thing that will allow us to keep growing, to be catalysts for change, and to create a world we once only dreamed would be possible. Congratulations again, class of 2020, and thank you for allowing me to go on this journey with you.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Jill Harrison. I'm an associate professor of sociology here at the University of Colorado Boulder. I'm also the associate chair for undergraduate studies here in the sociology department. And first, I want to say, from my home to yours, congratulations. We are so proud of you for everything that you've done to work toward your degree here at CU, and especially during this most difficult semester. As undergraduate chair, I have the pleasure and honor of sharing with you the winners of our 2 undergraduate awards. The first is the Val and Helen Fisher Award. This annual award is given in honor of Val B. Fisher and Helen Waltmeyer. Val and Helen met while attending CU, and they married in 1911. Val taught at CU. He served as a regent of the university during the 1930s, and he was active in alumni affairs until his death in 1945. The scholarship commemorates Val's great concern that CU and its students be agents for social betterment. After Helen's death in 1978, the trustees added her name to the scholarship in recognition of her warm humanity and long-standing concern for students. The Fisher Award comes with a financial stipend, and this year's Fisher Award goes to Spencer Badgkar. I want to read for you a few statements from Dr. Lori Hunter's nomination letter of Spencer for this award. Lori writes that in addition to his high GPA, Spencer has the goal of pursuing a PhD in sociology in order to add to the body of knowledge, especially in terms of sexuality and gender. During his time at CU, Spencer has also been highly active in the Golden Buffalo Marching Band and the Buff Basketball Band, where he served as section leader for 2 years and squad leader for 1 year. He's also a member and leader of Kappa Kappa Psi, a co-ed national honorary band fraternity, which emphasizes musicianship and leadership through band service. He is also engaged in work related to health, participating in the Student Health Advisory Board and the Institute for Healthcare Improvement, both of which seek to solve problems within the healthcare industry on campus and eliminate barriers of access towards stigmatized issues. In all, Spencer is a passionate, motivated, and capable student with ambitions to pursue doctoral studies and contribute to higher education. His sociological imagination is strong, and I believe he will make important contributions both academically and to society at large. Those are the words of Dr. Lori Hunter. Congratulations, Spencer Badgkar. We are so proud of you. The second award that I want to tell you about today is the Jim Downton Award. Dr. Jim Downton was a professor here in our Department of Sociology here at CU for many years, and he was also the head of the INVEST program, which is the International and National Volunteer Service Training Program, which trains and coordinates service learning volunteers. His creative intelligence and selfless generosity to others are honored in this award, which celebrates the fusion of academic achievement with service to the community. The Jim Downton Award also comes with a financial stipend, and this year's award goes to Benjamin Mahler. And I'll just review a few words from the nomination letter submitted on Benjamin's behalf by my colleague, Dr. David Pyrus. Mr. Mahler is well-grounded, unassuming, and eager to learn. He is genuinely curious, which he attributes to an upbringing in a socially diverse environment. He is interested in understanding the intersection of psychology and sociology and how policy making impacts both of those. Dr. Pyrus was so impressed with Benjamin's performance in class that he invited him to intern on a major Department of Justice funded study in evaluating a particular violence reduction initiative in Denver. And he elaborated that Benjamin so successfully fulfilled challenging research, including securing interviews with hard-to-reach participants, following up with parental contacts, and landing phone and person-based appointments. Dr. Pyrus writes, a key measure of potential is how students perform in reaction to changes in responsibility and workload. And it was clear to me that Mr. Mahler exceeded that bar. Congratulations, Benjamin. We are so proud of you. Congratulations to both of our award winners. We are honored to have you among our graduates as leaders among graduating sociology students.
I'm Rachel Rinaldo, chair of the graduate program in the Department of Sociology. I'm very pleased to share the announcements of our 2020 Graduate Student Awards. We received so many outstanding applications, and it was a pleasure to review our students' portfolios. Thanks especially to the awards committee members who reviewed all the applications, and many, many thanks to the graduate students who took the time to submit their work. Your work inspires us all. The first award I want to announce is the Outstanding Graduate Teacher Award. This $500 award is given in recognition of outstanding performance in the mentoring and/or teaching of students. The 2020 recipient of this award is Hillary Steinberg. Hillary is the former Center for Teaching and Learning lead for the department, and she has taught courses on sociological research methods, the social construction of sexuality, and sex, gender, and society. Hillary's teaching philosophy is anchored around rigor, accessibility, and respect for students that allows for their academic, sociological, and personal growth. She has also been a champion for teaching in the department and has spearheaded initiatives to improve the graduate teaching experience here at the university. The Outstanding Research Paper Award is a $500 award that recognizes a truly outstanding research paper. This year, we had a huge number of truly excellent submissions. The following 2 papers will be recognized for the Outstanding Research Paper Award for 2020. The first is titled, We Don't Know Much About Bees, Techno-Optimism, Techno-Skepticism, and Denial in the American Large-Scale Beekeeping Industry by Laurent Celia. Drawing on over 4 years of ethnographic field work with US beekeepers, this paper advances our sociological understanding of denial in the context of a rapidly changing socio-ecological and technoscientific context. This paper has already been published in Sociologia Ruralis. And the next awardee is the Immigrant Health Advantage, an examination of African origin Black immigrants in the United States by Justin Michael Vino. This paper presents a novel exploration of the immigrant health advantage as it pertains to overweight, obesity, hypertension, and diabetes among African origin Black immigrants in the United States. Ultimately, the paper finds that despite potentially experiencing high rates of discriminatory and/or racist behaviors, African origin Black immigrants' health does not deteriorate differently or more rapidly than that of non-Black immigrant counterparts. The Wilson Outstanding Graduate Teaching Award is a $500 award given to 2 students in recognition of outstanding performance as a graduate teaching assistant. The 2020 recipients of the Wilson Outstanding Graduate Teaching Assistant Award are Andrea Tilstra and Jennifer Toslieb. They have both TA'd for a range of classes in the department, and the graduate committee is thrilled to recognize them for their contributions to undergraduate and graduate student teaching and learning. The Ralph and Barbara Dakin Award is a cash award of $1,000 made possible by an endowed gift to the department by Ralph Dakin, who received his PhD from this department in 1958, and his spouse, Barbara. The purpose of the award is to recognize outstanding scholarship that contributes to peace, intercultural understanding, resolution of conflict, or amelioration of important social problems. The 2020 recipient of the Dakin Award is Joo-Hee Woo. Joo-Hee is an outstanding scholar whose rigorous qualitative and quantitative research explores smoking initiation, persistence, and escalation among African American and Korean women. Despite their disproportionate risk for negative health and social outcomes, little research has investigated smoking behaviors among these populations. Thus, Juhi's research is of profound social and public health importance. We wish her the best as she begins a new faculty position as an assistant professor at Appalachian State University. Finally, the Betsy Moen Walk the Talk Award is given each year to a graduate student in the sociology department who epitomizes the legacy of Elizabeth Betsy Moen Mathiat. Betsy was an associate professor of sociology at CU Boulder who died in 1993 while doing field work in India. She left a unique legacy of feminist scholarship and social action, and each year the department gives an award to a student whose research and service reflects this feminist social justice-oriented example. The 2020 recipient of the Betsy Moen Award is Jax Gonzalez. Jax's research, pedagogy, service to the sociology department, and service to the profession are all imbued with a concern for feminist critique and social justice that encapsulates the legacy of Betsy Moen. Jax's dissertation aims to understand the impacts of queer pedagogy on teachers' gender ideology. Jax also dedicates substantial time to service. Last year, as a graduate student representative to the department's graduate committee, Jax urged decisive action to address how our department could improve its culture. Jax currently serves as the graduate representative for the national professional organization, Sociologists for Women in Society. Most recently, Jax collected data from graduate students around the country to understand and improve university responses to graduate needs during the current COVID-19 pandemic. Congratulations to Jax and to all our fantastic awardees.
Zach Kramer here with the Outstanding Faculty Mentor Award Committee, here to announce the 2019-2020 recipients of the Outstanding Faculty Mentor Award. I'm going to read off the script. We are pleased to announce that Glenda Walden is the recipient of the 2019-2020 Outstanding Faculty Mentor Award. Glenda received many nomination letters for the award, all of which included statements about her importance to the sociology department and its graduate students. Not only did the letters make clear that Glenda has mentored graduate students to become confident leaders and researchers, they also showed that she has supported, defended, and comforted graduate students, especially when they needed it most. For example, one student wrote, "Her acknowledgement of my presence was an effort to make me feel seen, valued, and welcomed in both the department and in academia. She taught me how to work with students on their academic needs and issues. One of the many lessons I learned from Glenda was to share my personal experiences that relate to course concepts, when appropriate, to make sociology come alive for students." Another student wrote, "Dr. Walden is a champion for graduate students inside and outside the classroom. Her teaching mentorship has been vital in my development as an instructor. She encourages growth while engaging constructive critiques of pedagogical approaches. Her immense experience in the classroom provides an under-acknowledged wealth to her TAs and other graduate students that she informally mentors. These passages just began to reveal what graduate students expressed about Glenda's importance. There was so much more. For these reasons, Glenda is the recipient of the 2019-2020 Outstanding Faculty Mentor Award. Congrats and thanks."
I'm Rachel Rinaldo, Chair of the Graduate Program in Sociology, and I'm very pleased to announce that 4 of our graduate students are receiving master's degrees today. The master's degree in sociology is awarded following the completion of a third-year paper based on original research, as well as an oral defense of that paper. The master's degrees we are awarding today go to Sky Niles, advised by Jill Harrison, Tara Strang-Schroeder, advised by Rick Rogers and Amanda Stevenson, Melissa Villarreal, advisor Lori Peak, and Elizabeth Weltman, advised by David Pyruz. Please join me in congratulating these students. The PhD is the highest degree offered by universities. It qualifies you to teach and do research at the college level, as well as to work in many other advanced fields and industries. To complete a PhD, students must undertake demanding coursework, and most important, write a dissertation based on original research. It often takes 6 to 8 years to complete a PhD, and so it is therefore an enormous achievement. The Sociology Department is delighted and proud to be able to confer the PhD today on 5 of our students: Jennifer Balliet, Laurent Celia, Miriam Counterman, Sherry Sasnet-Martichewski, and Joo-Hee Woo. We hope you will join us in congratulating them on their achievement. Next, you will hear a little bit about each of their dissertations from the advisors who guided and supervised them during this long process. Jennifer Balliet's dissertation is called Contextualizing the Social Ecology of Intimate Partner Abuse, Analysis of Data from 42 Countries. This dissertation examines the influence of national context on the social ecological predictors of intimate partner abuse. The critical role of context is demonstrated through multi-level analyses that identify education as the only universally protective factor and establish the unique salience of national level gender inequality in predicting risk of victimization. Congratulations, Jen.
I'm honored to award the Doctor of Philosophy in Sociology to Laurent Celia. His dissertation is entitled, "It's Never Been Such a Good Time to Be a Beekeeper, Large-Scale Beekeeping and the Plight of Honeybees in the United States." By now, most people know that bees and other pollinators are dying in unprecedented numbers. Because the attention given to concerns about the declining bee population has focused on either disease or pesticide use, research has yet to investigate how professional beekeepers view the causes and consequences of the problem affecting their bees. Laurent studied these commercial beekeepers who maintain enormous colonies of bees and transport them across the country every year to pollinate everything from almonds in California to alfalfa in North Dakota. Over the course of 4 years, he worked alongside them, he interviewed them, he attended beekeeping conferences, and the resulting dissertation analyzes how multiple overlapping processes of oppression benefit capitalism while harming humans, animals, and the environment. Laurent's work addresses a timely social problem from a highly original perspective. Congratulations to Laurent, and thanks to Christine, Sophie, and Teo for their support.
I'm here to award a doctoral degree to Miriam S. Counterman. Congratulations, Miriam, from all of us. So Miriam's dissertation looked at labor migration, natural resource use, and food security in rural South Africa. She used data from a demographic and health study site in rural South Africa, for which we have a partnership. The study site is run by the the School of Public Health at the University of the Witwatersrand, and they've been collecting information from 1993 in a region of rural Africa that otherwise would be very difficult to examine. And the work that's been done there has really shed light that's generalizable to so many other places. So Miriam documented the importance of labor migration through remittances to food security at the household scale. She also looked at natural resource use. Natural resources are critically important to households in this region because there's communal land around the villages from which people gather, for example, wild foods. So she also showed, one of her most important findings, I think, is that combined, the two were still really important as individual strategies. And this shows that the diversification of livelihoods is what's particularly important. And the more activities households have, the more secure they are. There's not one sort of magic bullet, if you will. So a really important policy and programmatic implications in designing efforts to diversify livelihoods as opposed to, again, sort of focusing necessarily on one strategy that puts households at a high level of vulnerability. So congratulations again, Miriam. We're really proud of you.
It's my great pleasure to award the Doctor of Philosophy and Sociology to Sherry Sasnat-Martichesky. Sherry's dissertation was entitled The Transgender Experience, Exploring the Politics of Being. The transgender experience has, for the most part, been defined by a handful of celebrities. Although the resulting media coverage has raised awareness of transgender issues, it hasn't fully explored the subjective experience of those who identify as transgender. To get a better understanding of the transgender experience, Sherry interviewed members of the transgender community. Their in-depth discussions focused on the narrative accomplishment of the self. Sherry's analysis highlights the importance of resources in the self-development process and the role of the transgender community in the lives of those engaged in the process of transitioning. Sherry found that there are clearly defined strategies and resources available to guide how members engage in the process of self-development. However, she also found that these strategies and resources help to conceal the lack of consensus about what it means to be transgender. Congratulations to Sherry, and thanks to Diane Sasnat-Martichesky and Jenna Bateman for their support along the way.
This is Juhi Wu's advisor, Stephanie Molborn. I'm recording this from Sweden, and I'm very sad not to be able to say these congratulatory words in person. I'm so proud of Juhi and everything she's accomplished. Let me tell you a little bit about what she does in her research. Juhi Wu does mixed methods research that studies cigarette smoking among women and men in both the United States and South Korea. Smoking is the greatest preventable cause of death in the United States and many other places. And importantly, it's a major reason why we have racial and ethnic disparities in health in the US. There's not enough social science to help us understand what makes people start smoking, keep smoking, and sometimes stop smoking. Juhi has specialized in studying smoking among marginalized groups of people, and she uses both statistical analysis of longitudinal databases and in-depth interviews with people. She has studied women smokers in Korea who were heavily stigmatized, and for her dissertation, she's studied smoking among African American women. They're an unusual group because African American women are less likely to smoke as teenagers, but more likely to take it up later in life and also not to stop smoking later in life. And interestingly and importantly, African Americans who have the same levels of smoking are more likely to die from health problems related to that smoking. So it's very important to understand why these disparities in smoking exist. And Juhi has done some of the first research to focus in depth on this. It's been fascinating to follow, and I'm so proud of everything she's done. Juhi is going to be defending her dissertation later this month, and in the fall, she'll be joining the faculty at Appalachian State University in North Carolina as a tenure track assistant professor. I'm so proud of Juhi for all of these accomplishments, which are all the more impressive given that for the second half of grad school, Juhi was living in Chicago away from our program and single parenting her daughter, Neri. You have so much to be proud of from these past several years, and I think you have a wonderfully bright future ahead of you, Juhi. We're all going to miss you very much. You've made such a difference in the department and our lives, and you have all of our pride behind you as you step into your bright coming future.
Hello, everyone. I'm back, and this time it is to introduce our honors students. I had the distinct pleasure of acting as the Sociology Department's honors program coordinator this year, and I worked with 5 fabulous students. So the College of Arts and Sciences honors program offers the opportunity for high-achieving students to engage in an independent research project during their senior year. They can graduate with Latin honors. There are 3 levels: cum laude, magna cum laude, and summa cum laude. And the level is determined by the student's GPA in addition to their development, implementation, and defense of their thesis. So the first student I will introduce is Spencer Bajkar. His advisor was Dr. Rachel Rinaldo, and Spencer graduates magna cum laude. His thesis title was Changing Meanings, Changing Locations, an investigation into the meanings of gender in female Kitchen Baptist refugees. Spencer interviewed refugees from Myanmar and engaged sophisticated sociological theory to think about gender roles and how they shift in the context of forced migration. This is very important insight as we work to design programs to support individuals during that challenging transition to a different cultural context. The second student is Kieran Haffey, and his advisor was Dr. Tim Wadsworth. Kieran graduates summa cum laude. Kieran's thesis title was The Impact of the Level of Rurality on Suicide Rates, an analysis of combined effects of known risk factors at the county level. Kieran did a great job bringing together multiple data sources reflecting health outcomes, sociodemographic, and other local processes, such as the level of religious attendance, which is important for understanding suicide rates. He identified key risk factors for suicide with a focus on rural areas. This work is important as we think about mental health programs in remote parts of the United States. Our third student is Katie Halverson, whose advisor was Dr. Leanne Peterson Gallegos, and Katie graduates summa cum laude. Katie's thesis title was Experiencing Religious Change, Latter-day Saints Women's Perceptions of Church Policy Changes and Their Impact. Katie interviewed 17 women who are either current or former members of the Mormon Church. As the church increasingly adopts progressive gender ideals, Katie wanted to study how women perceive gender within the church and how they deal with these shifting policies and the ways in which those policies shape their own lives. Really important contributions to the sociological study of religion, and especially traditional religions within the context of change. Our next student is Abby McConnell, whose advisor is Dr. Jill Harrison, and Abby graduates summa cum laude. Allie's thesis title was Challenges and Strategies, How Rights of Nature Activists Work to Achieve Radical Change in Perceptions of Nature and Legal Systems. Rights of nature activists work to shift environmental paradigms such that more individuals recognize that nature also has rights. Ecosystems, trees, oceans, animals, and mountains have rights that they want considered in policy. Abby interviewed several activists in the rights of nature movement to identify the challenges they face in pursuit of their cause. Her work offers important insight to social movement theory and will aid the movement in surmounting the obstacles that they face. And our last honors student is Lydia Stalcup, whose advisor was Dr. Lori Peak, and Lydia graduates summa cum laude. Lydia's thesis title is Designing for Change, Motivations for Engaging in Activism Among Design Professionals. Lydia's project was a sub-project in a larger NSF-funded endeavor to examine the design profession. Lydia's focus was on those professionals who engaged in activism even within a field not known for that type of work. She dug into their motivations, their inspirations, their successes, and their challenges, and her work offers a tremendous contribution to this broader NSF study. So those are our 5 extraordinary honors graduates for 2020. Again, it's been my distinct pleasure to work with these students. And to you 5, I want to wish you all the best as you move forward in your professional future. And I really hope that you stay in touch. Thanks. What a celebration. Thanks to each and every one of you for being here today. I certainly know this wasn't the ceremony that we were all hoping for, but we here in the Department of Sociology sure hope that this video met some need regardless. I wanted to offer a short closing because I want our graduates to know how critical they are to our global future. This was actually a poem written by a Colorado resident. Her name is Kitty O'Meara. She posted it on Facebook and it went viral. I like it because it reflects our current condition, our shared experience, and I see the need for an awful lot of sociology in it as we dream for a future informed by what we're going through now. So the poem is called "And the People Stayed Home." And the people stayed home and read books and listened and rested and exercised and made art and played games and learned new ways of being. And they were still. They listened more deeply. Some meditated, some prayed, some danced, some met their shadows. And the people began to think differently. And the people healed. And in the absence of people living in ignorant, dangerous, mindless, and heartless ways, the earth too began to heal. And when the danger passed and the people joined together again, they grieved their losses. They made new choices. They dreamed new images and created new ways to live and heal the earth more fully as they themselves had been healed. So again, this is by Kitty O'Meara, a Colorado resident. I see a lot of sociology in here because it's about culture. It's about social interaction. It's about mourning. It's about celebrating. These are all things that you have studied during your time here with us, and they are all the kind of skills that we're going to need to thoughtfully move forward. So thanks for studying sociology, for being a buff, and for all that you have yet to do. So go forth, use your passion and your critical thinking skills, and help all of us understand the possibilities and new ways to live. Congratulations, everybody. Stay safe and have a fabulous day.